Yo, 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 this is BTK in the house from Canada. I don't need to tell you that, but I did. And we are reacting today. We are reacting to. Let me take a sip of my drink first. Very delightful. Okay, so we are reacting to Mr. Nightmares. Another Mr. Nightmares reaction. Yeah, alright, 3 disturbing true office horror stories. Let's get right into this video. I am very hyped to watch it, because I have not seen it yet, of course, because I don't fake reaction to this. Here we go. Office horror stories. Yes! Wait, that's D-Crack's thing.
I work at a game development company in Orlando, Florida. I had to stay at the office late almost every night that week. It was a rainy Wednesday night of that week.
No,
There was one other person in the office at this point, my co-worker Chaz. He was finishing up on his work as well. He was also pressed for time on a strict deadline. By now it was easily between 8 and 9 o'clock, and Chaz knocked on my office door before telling me he was heading out. He asked if I was okay locking up the place, and I told him of course. Then he was off on his merry way. I heard the front door of our company's office slam shut behind him, and with that, I was alone. Our entire office is in the shape of an L. The entrance is at one end, and my office is down the short line of the L.
Pause.
Basically,
office alone screams bad shit. Unless you're in your house, of course. Like, if you're in your house, you normally got someone with you. Even if you don't, it's not that good. It's not gonna happen. Because it's your house. But if you're in a fucking office, that you have to drive through, not a good idea to be by yourself. Always have someone with you, even
in our office.
Always.
I had to keep myself awake as I was starting to doze off, so I went down the hall to the kitchen to heat up some coffee. Just a little bit, enough to keep me going for another hour. I leaned on the counter by the coffee maker, waiting for it to heat up, when I heard this. The sound of a door closing. I peeked my head out into the hall to look and see if anyone was there.
I fucking told you.
I called out, yielding no replies. The door sounded like one of the smaller private office doors, not the heavier front door to the entire office.
So,
I left the kitchen to walk.
Don't yell out. Hide under your desk. Make sure all the doors and windows are locked.
Computer, everything. It was just a little odd to me that the door closed on its own because it had never done that. But I moved past it and continued my work. The rain continued to hit the window, and the lightning continued to strike about once every minute, startling me a few times actually. Some more time passed, and it was now getting very late to still be in the office. I was content with the progress I made, so I saved all of my work and began closing down my computer. I clicked the shutdown button, then turned off the screen. The screen went black, and then I saw it. In the reflection of the computer screen, I saw behind myself a woman standing there.
A woman?
I don't know how I didn't jump or scream, but I felt my heart drop into my stomach. I didn't turn around. I just got up from my desk, calmly grabbed my bag, pretending not to have noticed, and walked to the door. I didn't look back to shut the door or anything. I walked down the hall until I thought I was far enough away. Then I booked it out the exit of the entire office. A long time ago, I did security work in an office building in Midtown Manhattan. Start decorating their office space with Christmas decorations, which were held in the basement along with other storage.
Merry Christmas.
I usually stood in the lobby area of the building just as general security. It was usually an uneventful job for the most part. An employee of this dermatology office on one of the upper levels of the building apparently had gone down to the basement and had reported that all the lights were out, and that the elevator wasn't running to the basement floor. There were multiple broken-in doors down there, implying a break-in over the weekend. It was my job to go down there and investigate. Since the elevator wasn't going down to that level, I would have to take the stairs down there. I was going down there alone since I was the only security guard on duty that day. A small maze of corridors with different rooms, and navigating this in the dark with nothing but a flashlight was making the hairs on my body stand up. Some of them were so badly damaged that they looked like they were destroyed with an axe. This was more serious than I thought. Just a security guard, I didn't make enough money to go searching for potentially dangerous people without a gun. I looked into each room with broken down doors and find any trace of theft. I came down here with a purpose. I continued looking into the rooms, just peeking in for a second with my flashlight. Then I heard a slam elsewhere in the basement. And suddenly, everything went dead silent. The The basement noises I was hearing before, from whatever they may have been coming from, a boiler, the pipes, whatever it was,
Is this real
stopped.
footage?
And I was now in a dead silent basement where I could hear every last sound. Every footstep I took now louder. Someone was in the basement still, evident by that slam, and whatever caused the noises to stop. I called out, "Anyone here?" and my voice echoed down the corridor. I continued slowly back the way I came. I wasn't staying down there another moment.
Okay, is this...
This was a job for
frozen?
NYPD at this
no,
point.
It's not.
I was almost to the stairs when I heard this heavy breathing coming up from around the final corner. I instantly knew it to be heavy breathing.
Too.
I was scared shitless.
What's going on, fam?
Why was I put in this situation? I turned off my flashlight and tiptoed just a little closer to look around the corner. And weirdly, the breathing stopped. I said one hello, then turned the flashlight back on. Even though the light wasn't aimed exactly in that direction, I still easily saw this extremely tall, hunched-over figure facing the wall with some kind of long object that could have been a weapon in his hand. I say his because there was no way a person this big and this stature could have been a woman. I also saw their face turn in reaction to the light. It was this pale, abnormally long face. I think they were bald. Another reason I say it was a man, but I didn't look too long. I ran past the figure to the stairs, screaming back at him that the cops are coming, you need to leave now. I ran all the way back up the stairs, through the basement door, then locked it and called 911. A bunch of NYPD cars came, and it was a big thing. At least 4 police officers went down there. Although, those doors didn't smash themselves open. I took sick days.
Alright.
I held my first job ever in 2002, and I worked at a call center during the graveyard shift. The layout was kind of in an elongated donut shape, with the donut hole being the elevator lobby / main doors, and the actual office space composed of 2 long hallways and 2 shorter ones. It was also a new site, so only half the office was finished, and the other half was still under renovation. So one long half of the donut was a fully operational production floor with managers' offices and a pantry, while the other long half was reserved for things like conference rooms, the nurse's office,
So basically you're saying one half of the donut got eaten in woods.
as any call center should be. The other half was only partially lit.
Okay.
To make matters worse, the guards would turn off the lights completely on that side, since they figured nobody was using it anyway. You needed to use the restroom. You just kind of had to make a mad dash to and from it. 2 weeks into production, and my teammate, who was obviously very...
So you're telling me if I gotta shit, I gotta run too? Come on, make my life way easier. I mean harder.
...in with, had a terrible migraine, and I suggested that she tell our team leader about it so that she could take a break.
We'll put the camera
TL then told her to go visit the nurse's office, located in the unfinished half of the office, something we figured out only because of the sign above the door that we see whenever we go to the restroom. I was to accompany her, so that's what we did. We walked to the nurse's office, so we peeked in to make sure nobody was in there. We saw all the medical equipment and a sick bed, a desk, basically everything you'd expect to find in there. Except the nurse.
Oh, my show's gonna break.
Thinking maybe he or she just went on break, we decided we'll just come back later.
Okay.
After half an hour or so, we did go back, only to find that the light at the nurse's office was off. I remember us being pretty pissed off at the thought that maybe the shift nurse had gone home, but we checked the door anyway to see if maybe there would be a sign or note with the nurse's schedule or whatever. Tried the door handle despite being aware there was no light on, and I was able to open the door to find that there was no nurse's office, despite the sign above the door saying that that's where it was supposed to be. And yes, that was the only sign. We checked over and over to make sure it was the right room. We were sure it was the same room we visited earlier.
What?
But instead of a decked-out clinic, we found a room with a small nightlight in an exposed socket that cast only enough light for us to see the walls and floors were concrete. There were no finishes, no beds, no cabinets, nothing. It's like we dreamed up the clinic we saw earlier. A guard approached us at that point, asking what we were doing poking around in an unfinished clinic. So we told him what happened, and he of course thought we were making it up. While we were kind of trying to convince him that we weren't lying, we all suddenly stopped talking when we felt the temperature just drop. We shivered, our hair stood on end. My heart started racing, and nobody could speak for a minute. Finally, my teammate burst into hysterical tears, and the guard then nervously shooed us away and locked the door to the supposed nurse's office. We were escorted back to our team's bay, and we explained what happened to our team leader. He pretty much just sat there stunned as he listened to us.
I'm getting up right listen. BTK in the house. Hi, everyone. You know me. You love me. I would like to make a statement. A statement, how do I say this? I don't know what the fuck just happened, but it was creepy. Thank you, everyone. I'm out. Alright, thanks for watching this reaction. Hope